Oh, what's going on, you guys? The Russian Fast Bear behind the camera here. Russian West here. And today is Monday. And today, what I've got for you guys is a 50-inch Casablanca Delta 2 in Pastel Navajo. So, we are going to be covering another Delta 2 in an oddball finish. To give a little bit of background about this one, after the initial release in 1986 of the original Oddball Finish lineup, which included Designer Gray, Dusty Rose, Ferrari Red, Moroccan Sand, and Decorator Mauve, 3 years later in 1989, Casablanca introduced even more oddball finishes, which included Verde and the Navajo series. There may have been other ones, but I can't think of them off the top of my head, so so I'm sure you all know what Verde is, but the Navajo series, which is what we're going to be talking about today, consisted of 3 different types of fans that all had a Navajo-esque base, and then had different colors on top, which included White Navajo, Peach Navajo, and Pastel Navajo. By the names, they're relatively self-explanatory. You have Navajo White, which of course is the Navajo base with like white on top. Then with Peach Navajo, you have the Navajo base with like a peachish, pinkish orange on top. And then Pastel Navajo, what you see here, this one, has the Navajo base with like pastel paint speckles over top. So let's take a closer look, shall we? So what you have is little pink and green and the occasional orange paint speckles all over the finish. It's on the switch housing, the blade brackets, the motor housing, the hang true, pretty much everything except the wood of the blades. There's the tag. Yep, 1989. And something else worth noting is that since these fans this fan in this finish was introduced in 1989, that means that finding a Pastel Navajo Delta 2, or any Navajo for that matter, with a notch canopy, or notch hang true, is not very common. So this is a rather rare variant of a rare finish, I guess. And it has just your basic bleached oak blades. They are a little roughed up, but I think I can live with that. If I do find a set of bleached oak blades in better condition, I will probably throw those on there instead, but for now these work fine. And we'll start it off with low. And it does have a 4.5 flywheel, being from 1989. And since it is also from 1989, on top of being the last year of the notch hang true, having a 4.5 flywheel, it also means that the flywheel is susceptible to failure. For those who don't know, in 1989, and I think early 1990 as well, Casablanca's flywheel quality took a huge dip out of batshit nowhere. They just got really hard, and as a result of that, were very susceptible to breaking and failure. Exactly why that happened, I'm not really sure. Some other collectors might be aware if they analyze the flywheels for their material or something, but I'm not really sure. However, the fan itself came new in box. I got it off of eBay new in box. So as a result of that, the flywheel is still nice and flexible. And I will most certainly be keeping a close eye on that thing to make sure it doesn't, turn hard and start to break. And if worse comes to worse and it does, replacing one of those things isn't the hardest thing in the world. We'll kick it up to medium. Now, out of the 3 Navajo fans in the Navajo series, I would say White Navajo is undoubtedly the most common. as White Navajo long outlived Peach and Pastel Navajos, as Peach and Pastel were discontinued in, I believe, the mid-90s, maybe even the early 90s, and White Navajo lasted until some point in, I think, the 2000s. Also, White Navajo was used on many different Casablanca fan finishes. Some of the more contemporary-looking fans from, the late 90s, early 2000s had White Navajo as a finish option. Peach and Pastel, their runtime was a lot more limited. So which of the two is the rarest is honestly up for debate. In my personal experience, I'd say Peach Navajo is the rarest of the three, as I have seen a handful of Pastel Navajo Delta 2s, and never really seen any Pastel Navajo Panamas, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere. I have seen a handful of Pastel Navajo Deltas, including the one here that that is in my possession, but I've never really seen any Peach Navajo Deltas, or Panamas for that matter. And I believe Peach Navajo is also an option for the Cascade. I don't know about Pastel Navajo, might have been, but maybe not. So other people might say otherwise and say Pastel Navajo is the rarest of the three, but in my personal experience, Peach Navajo is the rarest. And then we'll go to high. And apologies if the shot is progressively getting darker here. The sun outside is setting, and trying to, make this video before it gets dark out. Because the weather forecast is saying cloudy and rainy skies like all week this week, so I wanted to make this video while it's still sunny. And typical for all Casablancas, this fan has a nice, was I trying to say majestic or aesthetic? I don't know there, sorry. Like a nice aesthetic or majestic low, and then a nice middle of the ground medium, and a nice and powerful high. Which of course is par for the course. Blowing tons of air too, which is always nice. And one of the brackets is a little out of balance, which I will definitely fix soon. But again, just wanted to make a video of this fan as soon as I could. But yeah, that bracket, I will, get it back into place as soon as I can. Here's one more look at that speckled paint Navajo. Be pastel, I guess you would call this. I guess this is like pastel colors or something like that. I mean, I'm not much of an art person, so I wouldn't really know, but I do know that like pastel colors is something that you would use in like certain art forms or something like that. I'll turn it off. And one last thing to note, because it is new in the box, well, quick clarification, everything except the blades is new. The blades I got separately and they were used, but the motor and the brackets and the hang true and all that is brand new. Yeah, because it's brand new, the fan itself is absolutely silent. No motor hum, no bearing noise, nothing like that, so that's 2 thumbs up for sure. So, yeah, that's just about all there is. This is my 50-inch Casablanca Delta 2 in Pastel Navajo. So, that's going to be it for today, you guys. Like, comment, rate, subscribe, click the notification bell, or anything else that would help out this channel.